I keep forgetting his first name. Just are concerned, Fresh and Fit, all those guys, dude. As far as I'm concerned, they're making money. Good for them, fine. But
now that you mentioned Fresh and Fit, there was a recent episode where they had Sneako on, and I mean,
oh yeah, you sent me that.
yeah, they recently had Sneako on for a while. I don't know if they're using him for money, but like well not like to think that, but anyway, on that episode I was actually surprised. I skipped, dude, and I don't know if it was like God or something, but one thing I noticed is I skipped like 40 minutes into the podcast, and then when I skipped into the podcast, it went straight to a scene where Sneako's calling out RolloTomassisome.
We saw Rollo said something yesterday on Twitter saying that men should get vasectomies in their 20s just to prevent this, which I completely disagree with. I think that it's important to have family values and to prepare for eventual parenthood. But that's the cope that a lot of men have. Like, why raise a family in this scenario? Why like risk having a child with somebody who's wanting to build an empire or wanting to be as famous as Rihanna when you could just play it safe and do the snip snip? But I disagree with him completely. I want to know what you think about that. Rollo, like the godfather red pill, who's pretty much like created a lot of these ideologies, is saying like avoid having a family. I think that's complete cope. Like that's just that's when it becomes a black hole and really kind of black. Like I think
about saying that if you want to accelerate yourself to being a high value man, he named a whole bunch of different things, and he said one of the things was to get a vasectomy. And then Sneako kept stating over and over throughout the podcast, hey, he thinks that family is very important and getting a vasectomy is very risky. But and when it came to like Myron and the other guy's name, Walter, because like, I used to watch him too. There's a lot of people I used to watch, and I just like lost respect to them.
They had a lot of good messages in terms of like finance and what a man should do. But then after a while, it was like, I don't know, man. They just went. They were out of control, man.
Yeah, and I've seen them evolve and get better, but at that moment when I saw that video, that that pushback from Sneako, and it made sense, right? Like if you're pushing this whole like message of red pill family is very important, this and that,
right?
Yes,
right.
We understand that modern woman right nowadays, it's very risky, and if you actually want to be a high value man, to mitigate the whole risk, one of the options you could do is to get a vasectomy. Right. But there comes consequences with that. You know what I mean? So when he was asking a question, he was, basically telling, hey, Walter, if, do you agree with that? And they just kept saying, yeah, we think family is important. But he kept saying it's a yes or no. Do you agree with getting a vasectomy? And they just wouldn't answer the question.
Because these are people.
And I saw the fear in their eyes, too. Like, they were afraid to speak against him.
But you see what I mean? You gotta stand on something.
They call him the founding father too of the Red Pill.
He's not the founding father, man. He has some good stuff, but the thing is, they don't stand on anything, bro. They don't stand on anything. Don't get me wrong.
I've seen Myron like stand against against celebrities, and he's kicked out girls and all this other crazy shit. But at that moment, I saw one of their colleagues. It wasn't someone that was like some random person on their podcast. It was one of their colleagues calling them out, saying, "Hey, do you believe in this? Yeah, we believe in family, but what you're saying is." Getting a vasectomy is against having a family in a way, because you're getting rid of the ability to have a family.
Now let me push back a little bit and say, I think that Tomasi was saying get a reversal. I think vasectomies are reversible.
Yeah, they are, but the percentage is not that high. And there's like different studies out there. That's another thing. Like some say that it's high percentage, some say it's a low percentage.
So he's like, get a vasectomy, work on yourself. The reason you get a vasectomy is to protect yourself from unwanted pregnancies, because now you're taking the control back from the reproductive control from women. I get that part. I understand that part. And I think that's what he might have meant. Whereas like, get a vasectomy because they're reversible, and then just undo it when you're ready to have a family. How well does that work? Don't know.
Yeah. I just don't think it's good advice to give out, because, there's always that percentage. And I think I have to look into the percentage. I think it's pretty high of getting it reversed. And at the end of the day, another thing he was saying is like, another thing that they brought up is that you can also like freeze your sperm. But they were bringing up like, so when you tell a girl that they want to freeze their sperm and prolong the whole thing of getting married, you're kind of like being a hypocrite. Because you're giving the same option to a man now, right?
Yeah. Seems like that's what most of these guys are. I think a lot of these guys are grifters, dude. I'm sorry.
I don't know, man. Like I said, all the power to them. But that when I saw that pushback of their own colleague and that conflict between like I care about family, but at the same time I understand RolloTomassisome. It's like they felt I what I saw in their eyes and what I saw in their message, where they couldn't just say yes or no. They just kept like going around the question, right? They're afraid of RolloTomassisome. They're afraid of saying, you know what, this is what I stand for, and the answer is yes or the answer is no. Period.
But does that look like men who stand on their principles and on their values?
Yeah, they could have said like, you know what, I believe that, no, you shouldn't get a vasectomy. I respect RolloTomassisome, but this is what I stand for. And he's still my friend. I still hang out with him. We're cool and everything. But that one viewpoint, that one belief, I am against it. And that's it. Period.
Yeah, you could disagree with it. Exactly. Yeah. There's nothing wrong with disagreeing with people. You know what I mean? It's not a cult.
Exactly.
But the fact that they don't bring that up, that they don't say, hey, look, man, I don't agree with that. I think you shouldn't get a vasectomy. They're afraid to go against the dogma. That's what makes it seem like a cult.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's why nobody's gonna respect that space. And that was a good space, I think. I think that space was good for men who didn't grow up with a father figure and were kind of trying to find their way home, or not home, but trying to find their way around, life as a man.
Yeah.
And how to improve and what to do and how a man should carry himself. I think those things are really, really good. But when you have guys that are the supposed leader of the manosphere or that space, and they're giving out terrible advice and carrying themselves terribly and being straight up hypocrites and taking advantage of men who are lonely and confused, it seems more like a cult now.
Yeah, and another thing, there was like a comment. Someone did like, the comments where people like pay and stuff just so their comments could be viewed on the
the super chats.
Yeah, super chats. So some person said, so they commented on something, and then Sneako was like, wait, you guys should be paying me, not them. Like it was one of those comments and stuff, and like I don't know what's going on behind the scenes. Like I understand Sneako got banned from YouTube.
I think Sneako's waking up to the fact that some of these people are just like,
they're fake. And Sneako's young. And the people he's hanging around with, hopefully he understands that a lot of people are like, they're fake and stuff, and they're just capitalizing on this opportunity, I guess you could say.
And I don't know how you feel, dude, but I'm quite honest, I'm exhausted about this whole gender dynamic thing. I don't know about you. I'm exhausted about this whole men should do this and women should do that, and 80% of the women, 20% of the men, and 80% of the men, 100% of I'm just tired of that entire conversation. This is freaking exhausting.
Yeah, it is.
People are not going to change. They should. They're not going to. It's I think, obvious now.
You know what? That was one of the things that Myron brought up, which I understand, and what you said as well. Like if you want to accelerate yourself to be a high value man, you should mitigate yourself by getting a vasectomy and stuff like that. Right. And then Sneako said something which was, hey, guys, if we let feminism win, then basically where what's gonna happen to all the masculine people and all this stuff. But like you said, they're not gonna change. And then Myron kept saying feminism has won already. We have to adapt. And we have to...
It's a matriarchy, dude.
It sucks, dude. It sucks to say that, right? And then Sneako's like, no, we should fight this. We should be, we should be better men, this and that. We shouldn't only be about obtaining women. We should concentrate on ourselves and all this stuff.
But that was back in the day, that's what the red pill kind of was.
That's what, Myron kept saying this. He kept saying that, it's not the 1950s anymore, unfortunately. So you have to act like it is nowadays to adapt and actually, be successful in this time. So I'm like,
for the listeners, be the best version of yourself, mitigate risks by knowing what kind of society you live in the West. That's it.
Well, do you agree with the vasectomy thing, though? Or?
No, I don't think people should get vasectomies. I don't trust how reverse vasectomy is and blah, blah. Just look, one of my friends has a rule of thumb. He wouldn't have sex with women that he wouldn't have kids with.
Yeah.
So just do that,
And I get it. It's tough because, there's going to be moments in your life you're going to meet a hot chick and you already know you just want to smash.
Some of these guys ain't even getting no girls anyway. Some of these guys don't even got nothing to worry about, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Sad to say.
I think that's another thing.
It's messed up.
Yeah, it's another thing that they should bring to light is that a lot of these red pill people, they don't.
Well, I'm not talking about the red pill guys who are like the preaching stuff. I'm talking about guys who listen to these people. Most of them aren't getting.
Yeah. I was gonna get to that. The fact that
I'm sorry.
A lot of the red pill people. I said red people. I was thinking about Smurf, blue people, red people, the blue pill, red pill. But a lot of these red pill people, they don't mention that. They don't mention the fact that, okay, yeah, they always do the whole like be the better self, whatever. But they have to say like, look, guys, unfortunately, even though we're telling you all this, the majority of you are not going to do it.
Right.
Right. We're just talking to the 1% that's going to listen to this, and unfortunately, we know that the majority of you are not going to do it. You're going to like be simps, maybe like get divorced, lose half your shit and stuff like that. But what they do is that they give hope to those that I guess in a way get off on this shit, right? They watch the videos and like
it's cathartic. I think to a lot of people who've been like hurt in the past.
Yeah.
Them watching Myron kick out women and stuff like that.
They like that shit.
It's cathartic to them because for them they feel like they're getting some sense of justice. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, they did me this way, but they're doing them now that way, and it's cathartic to them. It's like, dude, you gotta get some therapy, bro. You know what I mean? Like, these guys are talking rude to girls that have never done anything to you, that you've never met, and you're getting off on that to a cathartic extent. You're better off. And I think we had this conversation before. I think a lot of people should get therapy.
Damn, guys, I'm still against a little bit of therapy and stuff.
You don't have to be against it, but you could be like, I just don't agree with that.
Yeah.
I think it's important, but as far as I'm concerned, as far as the whole red pill manosphere thing, I think that thing
it's a little toxic in a way.
It's too toxic now. I think the only thing that men have to know is work on yourself. To be a high value man, work on yourself. Read, work out, always learn, always progress in your career, and just that. That's it. Everything else, I'm sorry, guys. To Myron's point, these aren't the 1950s anymore. A lot of you guys are in a position in life where you would have gotten a really nice woman had this been the 1950s, because all you had to do was work, and some of you guys are working now and doing well and reading and doing all these great things. But it's not the 1950s anymore.
So you do agree that they should adapt, but do you agree on the vasectomy thing? No, right?
No, I don't agree with the vasectomy thing.
You see how easy it was for you to answer that question? You said, no, I don't. I agree they should adapt to the environment, but vasectomy thing, no. And that's something they just couldn't do because it's against what RolloTomassisome was saying.
You know what we call that? We call that a cult. Only in cults are you afraid to say something that you think is against the cult.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I don't have any issues with these red pill guys. I just think that
that was an issue. It was more like a topic that I found interesting, like, seeing something real time, like, wow, this guy's actually afraid to like speak his mind, but again, that's what he preaches.
On his platform.
Yeah, on his
His platform. He should have been able to say, oh yeah, no, I don't agree with him. And that's it.
Bro, that reminded me of like the whole bug thing, bro. Like, you can't just speak out on YouTube on these certain topics because you get canceled.
Yeah, and that was messed up, man. Because something supposedly that's safe and effective, right? Yeah. You know what I mean? And you're not allowed to question it. But that's another thing too, right? If you're not allowed to question it and speak your mind, you call that a cult or whatever. Or you know what I mean? So, like I said, guys, work on yourself. It's sad, but you should not work on yourself for the sake of women. It is what it is. You should work on yourself for the intrinsic value that it brings. You should just take pride in your life.
And there was one thing, I'll give credit to Myron and Walter in this. They did mention the fact that the majority of men, and this, can't control their urges to have relationships with girls.
Right.
So maybe vasectomy might be a good option for them. I give them that, but like I said, everyone has their own belief. And me personally, I think that's not the best option. Just because it might be the best option for everyone else, everyone has their own personal experience and personal opinion.
Like I said, dude, a lot of these guys aren't even having any relations with girls. You saw those numbers that came out?
Yeah.
A lot of these,
they're just exiting the whole like dating scene, right?
Yeah. I was listening to,
or they're doing the whole passport bro thing too as well. So that's another thing.
That's a different story. That's a whole different dynamic. You know what I mean?
You know what's crazy? A lot of people don't even have passports in America. That's another statistics.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
That's nuts. But they're gonna be forced to get it if they want to like fly to different states, I think. Or
the license, yeah.
Oh yeah, right.
They're gonna have to get that, but let's see how that goes. I mean, it's gonna be passed and stuff. It's already been passed actually, but that's not the same as going outside international travel.
Yeah, and I forget this British guy's name, but he was having a discussion with another guy regarding the epidemic of men who are just checking out of society. I keep trying to tell people, like women specifically, like. Women are beating men and starting to beat men on a lot of metrics, and that's good. Good for you guys. I'm glad to see that you're progressing. But we got to find out why the men aren't progressing and why they're falling behind, because you're not going to have anybody to date. You're not going to have anybody to marry. You're going to eventually want to be with somebody, and then these guys are going to measure up to what your standards are.
Yeah.
And the best we can do is work together to find out why these men are falling behind. And They're too busy celebrating. A lot of them are too busy
Do
celebrating.
you think that it's gotten to the point where they really don't care, and they're getting towards a point where their mindset is okay without being a man, or do you think they still crave that masculine energy?
I think it's short-sightedness on their part, where it's like, we're winning now.
Yeah.
It's like, yes, you're winning now, but look at the overall scheme of things. Where are you going to be 10 years from now, 15 years from now? Do you know that Goldman Sachs is already hedging against women's loneliness in about 10 years from now? And they're investing in these, what's it called? On stocks for...
like cat food and stuff?
Not to be facetious, but yeah, stuff like that. You know what I mean? So, and they're investing in stocks that are for like loneliness and stuff like that. So it's like, you know, another study came out actually recently that women, I don't know, I've talked to you and one of my other boys, that women report more, less happiness in relationships and marriage than men.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And I don't know why that is. I personally think that maybe they have internal things and they're just not happy, you know what I mean?
You think it's always been like this?
I think it's always been like that. Well, not really. I don't think so, actually. You know why? I think with Instagram and social media, Instagram and Facebook, no matter how good of a relationship you have, if you go on Instagram and Facebook, there's always going to be somebody who's appearing to have a much better relationship or a life that you might have wanted at one point, and you're seeing somebody live it, so you know it's possible, but you don't have it, and that makes you not happy. And that makes you look at your partner sideways. And I think that's might be why and you know, it makes you feel like you're not living up to your, you know, your fullest or whatever.
Yeah, that's why they say that Instagram is actually the biggest dating website out there. Why? Because like you just said right now, it's like you're advertising yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And what people don't understand is that regardless if you're in a relationship, if your woman's out there, you know, showing her body, especially out, you know what? I'm going to mention this because a lot of girls out there have Instagrams and they have boyfriends and they never post any pictures of their boyfriends. And it's kind of like a way advertising yourself, like, hey, I'm single, right?
Yeah, it's what you call trying to have your cake and eat it too.
Yeah. But they'll never admit to that thing. And I mean, the same thing goes for guys and stuff. But yeah, social media definitely has an effect on a dating scene, and it's also instant gratification, right? So people are now able to, and this not only goes for social media, this goes for like, this goes as deep as like Amazon. Like, you know, you just instantly get what you want, right? You just order it and get it in 2 days or 1 day. And yeah. Go ahead. No. That was basically it. Just instant gratification.
I wanna build off of that because I was watching a video from a person called Kidology. She looks like you know, Wednesday Addams.
She's a YouTuber, or?
Yeah, you know Wednesday Addams, the girl who plays Wednesday Addams.
Yes.
She's like she looks like a black version of her.
No way.
Yeah. So she was talking about how there's like a loneliness epidemic and stuff like that.
How ironic, loneliness, and she looks like that.
But that's the problem, right? Why are you beautiful like that? And why are you single? I'm sure there's plenty of men. You know what I mean? But that's a different story. I don't know what her situation is. But what I'm trying to say is, I left a comment there. I had left a comment. JaycastPodcast left a comment.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I said was, in a generation where you want instant gratification and everything now, and you throw away without even trying to fix what doesn't work, marriage is just another casualty of that type of behavior. If you're in a relationship and the moment you see something that's uncomfortable, that you're not willing, you know, that's just you don't like, you throw the whole relationship away. You don't even bother to work it out because you want something fixed now.
Yeah, that was crazy because I also saw a video on Instagram where it was like a young girl asking questions to like an older couple that's been together for 35 years. And they were just naming statistics of like, you know, 80 to 90% of girls, you know, file for divorce. And they mentioned what you said right now. It's because they don't work things out. They just, they're so used to being able to get out of situations easily without any consequences that in their brain, the way things work, it's like, why do I have to work things out? I might as well just get a divorce. And not only that, I win as well as a woman. Like,
right.
Be happy with yourself. I don't have to work things out with the guy. You know, I don't have to like try to, you know, keep this relationship alive. And yeah, man, it goes as deep as relationships. It goes as deep as getting products.
It's a consumer-based culture where you can throw out something that doesn't work and just get a new one. iPhones, clothes, electronics, and even people.
Yeah.
That's just the bottom line.
That's insane, man. if we get to the point where we don't value human life, that's another thing. If we're able to create human life like nothing, then we won't value human life. But yeah, man, I agree with you. I've seen it happening, and hopefully it doesn't get to that point where human life could just, be replaced and we don't value that.
Yeah. Yeah. I think Tinder has made the problem way worse as well. To be honest with you. Well, don't we know a guy who got like banned or something?
Yeah, man. I've heard a lot of stories of people getting banned because of what they say to other people and they get reported and stuff. But yeah, the social media platforms of dating right now, it's like the hookup culture.
Yeah.
So the hookup culture, I guess once you're able to get things instantly, you lose value on them, right? Like relationships.
Yeah.
So the whole thing of like sleeping with the person, which back then was very sacred, right? Like back in the day, people would just like sleep around like it's nothing.
Yeah.
Now it's just something that just happens. It just they don't think it's a big deal.
Somebody said.
And birth control. That comes in as well.
Somebody said you should sleep around a lot to get out of your system, and then somebody else said, and I never looked at it this way before, but now I kind of see what they're saying. It's like when you start sleeping around a lot and start getting all of that exposure, you don't get it out of your system, you get it into your system. Now your body craves more of that. So when you settle down for somebody who's somewhat vanilla, and there's nothing wrong with being vanilla or nothing like that, but when you settle down with somebody who's average and everything's good and the sex is not wild or crazy like that, what ends up happening is you become unsatisfied now because your body craves so you got it in your system. And that relationship is going to have a difficult time going through.
So you're like desensitized to all these things because of the prior experiences that you've had.
Well, I don't know if desensitized is the right word, but definitely the tolerance or your needs. Your needs have elevated now to where you know what I mean?
Yep.
So.
But I don't think that happens. I mean, I think it happens more to like a girl versus a guy, or
I think it happens to everybody.
To both.
To both, bro. Yeah, to both. Especially if you're a guy and you're having like.
So you think their expectations like higher and stuff,
or their thirst? They realize how thirsty they actually are. You know what I mean? And now you get settled down with a regular girl and it's okay and everything, and then the intercourse is okay, but it's not. It's not wild, crazy stuff, and you miss that stuff, and now you're unsatisfied, and now you're having a difficult time in the relationship, dude. But that's the whole thing about getting it out of your system that they were trying to explain. It's like you're not really getting it out of your system. You're adding it into your system, and you're adding other things into your system that you didn't even know that you were gonna get addicted to. The type of intercourse that you were gonna get addicted to in a way. You know what I mean?
You think that's like a dopamine like rush?
It's like it's like
it's like a drug.
I was gonna say narcotics, but yeah.
Yeah,
and now you go and have regular intercourse with regular people, and it's like, it's okay.
You get instant gratification. Goes back to that.
Yeah, man. So I don't know, man. The whole thing is messed up. Men should work. Be on your Michael B. Jordan status. Work on yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Do your thing. Take care of your family, the ones you still get along with. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, it's not the 1950s anymore. People want to say we live in a patriarchy. We don't. We live in a matriarchy. If I was to tell you, women get half of men's stuff, women are graduating higher rates of college than men, women are buying houses more than men are, women are starting to slowly out-earn men, you wouldn't call that a patriarchy. We live in a matriarchy. And it's all good that women are doing good and they're progressing and stuff like that. But like I said before, man, in an attempt to help one group of people, we should make sure that we're not leaving another group of people behind, whether that's men, whether that's women, whether that's black, whether that's white, whether that's, LGBT, whatever. Everybody should have an equal shot to progress in life.
Yeah, I agree 100%, man. It's there's a disproportionate of opportunity now, and it's, I don't know what's gonna come to the fact where they're gonna notice that, like, because the laws are behind, man.
Everything's behind.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, you can't force men to work if they don't want to.
Yeah.
You can't force men to be in a relationship you can't force men to better themselves if they don't want to. You can't force men to do anything that they don't want to do. If men are okay with working, there's nothing wrong with a warehouse job. I'm just saying, if you're a man, you go to a warehouse job, you live in a single bedroom or something like that, you play video games, you go to work, you play video games, you go to work, and you're happy, and you mean to tell that you're trying to sell a guy the idea that, hey, date somebody who's gonna nag you all the time, or who's not gonna be happy all the time, or who's gonna come into your life that's already peaceful, right? And bring to it a whole bunch of emotional distress. Maybe not emotional distress, but it brings good stuff, but it also brings not good stuff.
Yeah, but they also have to like up their game, man. They have to up their value as well as a man.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, like nowadays, like you said, girls are looking for like people that make a lot of money, the whole package, fitness,
And that's good.
health, everything.
That you should always like
charisma, all the stuff. Yeah.
get whatever you can, but remember, reflect what you expect. If you want a man who's in shape, be in shape. If you want a man who makes decent money, make decent money. The opportunities are there for women now too. You know what I mean? It's not like women can't get the same opportunity as men to make money.
Another thing is like to be able to, and this is one thing that I've noticed, to be able to make a certain amount of money, you have to have certain traits that are masculine, and that's very unattractive for most men.
You gotta just go for it, man. I know people who aren't that masculine and they're still making money. You know what I mean? This is a different time. At least you don't have to be like The Rock to make a decent.
No, I'm saying as a woman.
Oh,
Yeah.
I see what you're saying.
You have to have certain traits to be successful, which are masculine traits. So as a woman, it kind of like makes you very unattractive. So,
I wouldn't say that. I would just say
like being competitive, combative. You have to
have that, and then some women might have a difficult time turning it off.
You can't. That goes back to the whole thing. Like you can't turn off being, feminine, things like that.
Exactly.
It's like we go against our nature, man. That's what's happening nowadays. We're going against our nature.
Yeah, you imagine you're a woman, you're in the boardroom or whatever, and you're just straight up taking names and just making things happen and just cracking heads. You know what I mean? You're cracking heads, you're making things happen, you're closing deals, you're just getting things done.
Yeah.
And then you go home and what? You're going to be submissive?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To a guy who's not even at the same level as you in some cases. Yeah. I understand that part too. Like you said, man, I understand that part too.
It's a rough world nowadays, man.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna reset eventually. Maybe not during my lifetime, but there's definitely gonna be a reset. And I think this probably happened before too, where men have been feminized and women have been masculine. Like I think it's happened.
I don't remember reading this in history ever. Maybe in Rome. I don't know, but unless something gets done, the only thing we could do as men is work hard on yourself. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. And remember, nobody can force you to be in a relationship. Nobody can force you to do something you don't want to do that benefits somebody else. You know what I mean? Like when I say that, I don't obviously you're gonna have to work and benefit your boss. But when I say that, I mean like don't let people shame you for having standards.
Yeah.
That's it.
Your preference.
Or your preferences. And especially when you bring to the table what you're expecting.
Yeah, which brings it back to the first topic. Just make sure that they always like throwing around this word insecurity. You're so insecure. No, whenever you have boundaries and standards.
Right. There's nothing insecure about somebody with standards.
I think it's actually being more secure when you know what you want.
Exactly.
So
that exactly. They should try to knock you off your game.
Yeah.
So with that being said, guys, this is a good episode. I think
very good episode because we usually cover current events, but in this episode, talked about relationships and actually current events as well because it's the current dating life right now. And a lot of things going on, man. So we'll see you next week with a new episode, and make sure to tune in and make sure to subscribe because we see you guys. You're watching our content, but you're not subscribing, man.
Yeah, man. What's up with that?
Yeah,
we're trying to give you guys quality content. We got good mics now. They're gonna get better.
Yep, and we're gonna just wait. We're gonna get subject matter experts as well.
Yeah,
and get ready for every Mondays. We're gonna have motivational Mondays, right?
Motivational Mondays. I didn't do it last week, but it is what it is.
It's gonna be every Monday, and we'll come up with other topics, man. Just add value and add more content to your life that will better your life, and yeah. And we don't have any issues with any of these guys that we bring up, but we do think that men should be wary of who they take advice from. Yeah, I don't think it's issues. It's just, it's a healthy debate, right? It's just ideas we don't agree with, and they might maybe we're always open to hear other content creators as well, right? You guys could respond as well. We'll listen to what you have to say. We're not really out here to badmouth anyone. We're just here to get better and to better others. And to give our 2 cents. To grow, yeah. And to give our 2 cents. But all right, guys. This has been another episode of the JaycastPodcast. And we out. Peace.